guys, welcome back to the Her Story in Sneakers podcast, where we showcase the waviest females in the sneaker industry, community, and all things related. Today brings me much pleasure to showcase someone that is an all-round creative in the sneaker community. Some of you may recognize her from your Explore page. We have the one and only Charlotte Wybrow.
Hey.
So Charlotte's here today to talk to us about all things that she does, including running the Soulmate edit page, her art page, being a content manager for Pretty, a sneaker customization page. So yeah, let's get into it. Mm-hmm. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi.
Nice to have you today.
Thank you.
Long overdue. I've been in your DMs for a minute.
For sure.
Yeah. So let's take it back. I think a lot of people, if they do know you, they'll know you from kind of your Instagram, posting up your kicks, your displays, your wonderful sneaker cabinet that you have. Do you want to just go right back to the beginning and talk about kind of how your sneaker collection and your journey with loving sneakers started?
So it pretty much, so basically when I got with Callum, like streetwear became like a massive part of our relationship in general anyway. We got more into like Supreme and that, and obviously clothing and shoes, they kind of go hand in hand. So then I think it was for my 21st birthday, we went to New York, and this was when we first just got into sneakers like properly. I mean, like obviously we were into it, but not in the same way where it's like an addiction now. But we were there when the Yeezy 700s were dropping for the first time. Yeah. And we were stood outside Adidas, literally looking for our phone to try and see a way of trying to reserve a pair. But obviously, because we was from the UK and our UK phones, they wouldn't recognise it, so we couldn't do it. And then the security guard basically plugged us. And was like, yeah, he came up to us and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, it's my birthday. I'm 21 and we're here in New York from England." And he was like, "Oh, right, okay." He's like, "Well, if you want a pair, then come back at 4:00. So then we went back at 4:00, and like there was no one in the queue, but there was loads of people hanging outside. And he literally was like, "Come." Oh. And we got in a queue and we was first in line. So that was like my first like proper pair, like my Yeezy 700.
What a sick memory.
Literally. But like it's so funny because like that's my only Yeezy pair. And then since then it's just been pure Nikes basically.
What was the atmosphere like for that drop over there?
That's like my first experience of a drop, and it was just like, because we was at the front, you didn't really see much of it, but you could literally see that it was going around the corner of the building.
So when you leave.
Yeah, and you're like, we were the first ones that got it, and it was good. I enjoyed it, but it was just a surreal experience, to be honest, like to be in New York buying like Yeezys, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, sick. So when you said you got more into kind of streetwear when you started dating him, is that because he was doing something in that field, or he was just interested?
No, so he, like, I think where we're both quite creative people anyway, like we bounce off each other in that sense, and like he's very much into like graffiti anyway, and like streetwear before, and like with his brother too. So we kind of just, our relationship grew off of that, and like the more our relationship grew, the more of our interest grew with it as well, which is a nice thing to like have in common with him basically.
Yeah, for sure. So you feel like that makes your relationship stronger? Because I do know, no, that's sick, but I do know some people that they would prefer if their partner wasn't so much into.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like when it comes to collecting, and it's like, oh, you know, when you both want something on sneakers, I feel you on that one. And it's like now you're both pissed.
Yeah. He gets a lot more sneakers wins than me. I don't get so many sneakers wins.
But you get a lot for him, to be fair.
Yeah, I do.
He's got a good
But he
one.
gets a lot for me too.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like we do have a good balance. I think I'm worse than him though, to be honest.
Oh, in terms of like having FOMO.
Yeah, definitely. I can't remember, there was a specific pair that he got that I really wanted, and legit the whole day I was just in a bad mood with him. So I guess it does affect your relationship in some ways, but it's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault.
But
poor
it's like,
guy.
you should have just got my pair as well.
Or you should have just traded it, size swap from my size.
Exactly.
No, sick. So what did you do kind of for education? Because obviously you do a lot of stuff creative. Obviously you mentioned your boyfriend does graffiti artists and stuff, but you also obviously are an artiste. You have your Charlotte Arts page, which is, I always read it as Clarts, but I'm really sorry, but that's just what I read it as. And I was telling myself, don't pronounce it as that on the podcast because that's not what it is. But yeah, obviously you do a lot of creative things. Did you study? Have you studied education-wise?
I literally did my GCSEs, then I did my A levels. And
Did you do art?
I did art for my A levels, yeah. But that's literally it. Like that is.
Oh, you didn't go uni?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I stopped there. I got into Chelsea College of Art to do fine art, but I felt like it wasn't really worth it because, like, if I'm gonna go and study art, it's just gonna be proving myself again, and I felt like I didn't need to prove that I can paint a picture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought I could teach myself instead, and I feel like it's going fine
It's
without it.
You're doing
So,
great, sweetie.
I mean, my dad, he's always been a massive like painter when we was younger, and like his dad as well owned a shop in St Ives that was just pure paintings that he's done as well. And like literally as long as I can remember, like me and my brother would sit in the kitchen just drawing for as long as like it started off with Pokemon. We would draw like Pokemon scenes. But
Scenes, not
yeah, no,
even
literally. It was like in the jungle and stuff like that. I'm exposing myself. But yeah, I've literally drawn forever, as long as literally from birth.
Oh,
basically.
No, that's awesome. I wish I could draw. I like even my stickmen just look weird.
I mean, it definitely is practice makes perfect. Like I look back at like stuff that I did in year 7, and I'm like, I thought that was good, and it's really not. So yeah, practice definitely makes perfect. And like I always try and remember, like somebody told me ages ago that it's like layers. So I have to always remember that, like you have to do layers. You can't just try and expect it after one thing. And I think just from that advice, you learn to take it slower and develop your project a lot better.
Yeah, facts. I also I follow some painter on Instagram, and he was saying that he just will like let his hand do whatever it wants on a canvas for like half an hour or something, or an hour before he actually starts.
Really?
To like start on a painting.
Wow.
Because it kind of just, I don't know, it's his method.
Sets him off.
And I was like, oh, that's it's a good tip, because it's the same when people when they write, they're like, just write whatever you want to write, and then
get there.
Do like 100 words, and then it'll after that you'll be set on whatever you're actually trying to get down on paper. So I think that I've always been interested how that side of the brain works, because like I would say I'm creative, but not in that same sense.
My struggle is like thinking about what to paint. Like I try and find inspiration constantly, and I like to paint something that like means something and that is I would want to keep. Like for example, when I did the Jordan 4s, like they were such a crazy pair, and like the picture I took was shared everywhere that I was like, I need to paint this picture. And like I just literally got stuck straight into it, and I did it through the whole of furlough.
Oh no, not furlough. So let's go back a little bit and we can talk about that then. So obviously growing your Instagram, how was that for you, and when did kind of you start actually building like a social media presence?
Do you know who A. Carolan is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it must have been 2018, and I got my first pair of Jordan 1s for my birthday that Callum won. He thought it was his size and it was my size.
Oh no.
The Obsidians. So yeah, I got those, and then I started posting them on Instagram, and I think I went to London for my birthday and like thought that was an opportunity to post, and she reached out to me. I literally only had one picture of them, and she was like, oh, would you like to join my engagement group? And I was like, oh yeah, like what's it about? Like I've never heard of it before. And yeah, it just literally kicked off from there, and I met all these people, and there was like people like Sally Sneakers, Rebecca, like Helso, which is Hannah, like just so many big creatives, and I was like, wow, like I didn't even know that this was a thing. And you get so involved in it so easily. And then we all did a video, I don't know if you remember it, it was like 2 years ago.
Oh, Don't Rush Challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got so much hate for it. It was unbelievable.
And why did you get hate, Charlotte?
Because we're girls, obviously. In sneakers. But we got put on complex sneakers. We went complex sneakers. We went onto complex, onto nice kicks. Then it went viral on Twitter in France, and it was like 4 million views. And the comments legit like makes you die. Like people were just taking absolute piss out of us.
Yeah, you were also there was some hate to do with representation, right? Like diversity and stuff.
Yes, which was also annoying as well because it was like our group that we were in was completely diverse. We had a massive diverse like group online, and it wasn't a matter of we're going to choose certain people. It was like anyone can join. If you want to join. If you don't, you don't have to. We're just people at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a matter of that.
Yeah, because I remember that it sparked some debates amongst the sneaker community as these videos do, and then obviously it was a debate on do people feel like it's not diverse enough, or do other people feel like they're not represented, right? And it's like I could understand where it was coming from.
From an outside view, 100%.
1,000%. At the same time, there were people in that video that weren't white or European, and it's like it's actually pretty unfair that you're just assuming that they're not ethnic because they're not they don't look traditionally ethnic.
Yeah.
Which in and of itself, what does that say about your own perception on diversity and inclusion? But yeah, I definitely remember that video.
It's a shame though, because obviously there's a certain individual in it that is known in the community as wasn't very nice.
Oh, the racist girl.
Yeah, her.
Blackface girl.
Yes, her. Which is a shame you can't just cut her out, because I did enjoy doing that video a lot with them, but then obviously it went straight to her head and she just started making comments that was so unnecessary.
Yeah, even I was very I didn't I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't like what she said. I didn't have any respect for her as an individual or for anybody that still supported her. However, now looking back, she is also foreign, as in English isn't her first language. I don't know if what she was trying to say and what she said, whether it came across the right way. I don't necessarily think that she's a racist.
No.
I just think that she was being defensive. I mean, I don't know why this is turned into me talking for her. I don't even talk to the girl. But I do think that maybe a part of it was blown out of proportion.
Yeah. It's just like, obviously where she was in our group chat as well. Certain things she was saying was a bit like...
Oh, yeah, see, I don't know that whole side.
So we was in with her and it just got
I retract my statement. She's racist.
It was quite toxic, and immediately like people, even with Sally, like people were messaging her saying, how can you support this girl, blah blah blah, and it was like, hold on, like I never said I supported her. And basically as soon as that happened that evening, the whole group was closed. We shut the group down and made a new one, and anyone who wanted to carry on supporting her, like, goodbye, you're not part of the group anymore. Like we don't we're not going to support people that support people like that, make comments like that. So then that's when a new group grew. And that kind of slowed down again. And then me and Christine, we actually spoke to each other and was like, right, should we make our own group? Like, we've never done this before. So we did. And it's crazy, like, obviously we call it Soulmates. The group is called Soulmates on our phones. And now I see it everywhere. I literally see Soulmates, like the phrase everywhere. And yeah, they've literally had the chance to all meet up and everything in Sneakness. Yeah. So sadly I didn't get to go, but hopefully soon I'll be able to see everyone. But it's crazy, like, that we've managed to create that connection with all these female sneakerheads in the community, which is nice to see as well.
So a lot of your growth came from like engagement groups and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Well, my growth initially came from when the video got shared, like, my following.
But I think you still were on pretty decent followers back then.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But I jumped like 2K.
You're on a couple K. Like, I don't know why she's acting like she went from 100 to 10K.
But I jumped like 2K just from that.
Oh, okay.
And then... But like, yeah, I don't... Right now, like, where the engagement, everything is so down, like, I've learned to just kind of post what I like to post and not even worry about it. And where obviously I now have my new job, it's not such a priority for me.
Yeah,
It's more of a enjoyment.
Yeah, so did you feel like, obviously being part of the engagement groups and stuff, did you feel like a certain pressure to post stuff that was that kind of fit?
I guess so at the start, until you can kind of find your like niche. But like again, like, I hate that I keep mentioning him, but he's very good at like Callum is very good at like advice.
He's very good.
He is like he would always tell me like just post exactly what you want, like don't care about what other people are doing, because realistically the uniqueness is what everyone wants to see, and that's what makes somebody like interesting, because if everyone's the same then it gets boring, which is so true, because you see so many people that are just posting the same like exact pictures and it's just becomes so repetitive, whereas if you try and like bring your own personality into it, it's a bit different, which is why I try to incorporate my art a lot more into it, to try and get that side of me into it rather than it just be pictures of shoes.
Yeah, because for a long time, like before, when I was following you, I didn't actually realize all the art stuff, and then I started to see you upload like unfinished art and stuff, and I was like, oh wow, like she's actually super talented.
Thank you.
She doesn't just have loads of shoes.
Yes, see, it is about personality, isn't it? That's the
No,
thing.
yeah, 1,000%, because it's like, I think there was a while where the whole white background, white shelves, single shoe, like those pictures where everybody was just uploading them, and they were all doing well, and that was
Yeah.
and that was just kind of what it was.
It's the same with the bookshelves, though. Everybody's got the bookshelves too.
Yeah,
I see that everywhere. But I mean, some people
And the
make
same
it
book.
unique to themselves. So
icons, cores.
yeah,
No, yeah, for sure, when people make it unique. But yeah, personality, I think, is the one thing that sets everyone apart in the sneaker community, because other than that, it's like you do kind of, we all on some level we all relate,
yeah, of course.
like we're all the same because we buy the same stuff, so we have to
We're all
relate.
getting the same releases at the same time and getting it in our house at the same time.
Cool. One last question about engagement groups, because obviously I have been asked to join.
Have you ever been in one?
I was in one for about 2 days, and then I realized that
It wasn't for you.
it wasn't for me.
I think with that, like it's easier. So like I wouldn't be in an engagement group now. I don't class my group as an engagement group because I feel like it's all
Like now you're friends.
Yeah, they're like friends that I've met online that we've spoken about things in our group that like are just crazy, to be honest. You would never think you'd speak to like people that you haven't even met, but it's like you've had these personal conversations with them. And like, what was the thing that was popular in lockdown that everyone was using that was like a mini podcast?
House party? No.
It's like that.
Is that even
No, what's
Clubhouse?
Clubhouse, that's it. We actually made our own Clubhouse, and
Okay.
so we could all talk to each other, and like we've done Skype calls with each other, and like I see it more as a friendship group now, and I wouldn't class it as like forceful engagement. So
Yeah, that's
There's a
literally
massive
what deterred me from it, and I felt a pressure of like
keeping up,
and if I don't, even now, like I know that if I don't repost certain people's stuff, they're never gonna repost mine. Like you can tell, you just know. And the same thing with those engagement groups. It was like I'm trying to not be on my phone as much. Like, I did have to question if I'm just doing like for like or comment for comment or whatever. It's kind of diluting what my like and comment means. Like I just would like someone that if
you want it to be authentic.
I want someone to know that if I like or comment on the picture, I genuinely fuck with it. I
Yeah.
genuinely think it's sick. Like I don't just want to put, oh my god, this is amazing on like any random picture. So yeah, I think they're good. I can definitely see why people use them.
But there's some that I don't know if you've heard of them that like they'll have like 200 people in.
Yeah, the one that I was in had like,
It's on like a separate app. I can't remember what it's called.
well, the one that I was in, they had to make multiple groups.
Oh my god.
It was like I was
Too
in like
much.
I was in like number 1, and then there was like 2 and 3. Because they'd reached the max people on Instagram.
okay, yeah.
DM. But yeah, I think it's a cool way to get to know people. I do also think it puts a pressure on people.
Definitely.
and it makes you care a lot more about numbers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also with the friendships, I never want to have to think like, oh, are we only friends because we're supporting each other's content? Or do you actually fuck with me type of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas obviously yours, it's like you've all known each other for so long.
Yeah,
now.
and like even people that have like reached out to me that we've spoken to, that I've brought them into the group, and then they end up meeting the people in the. It's just nice to see like them meet in person and stuff like that. It's like it's good.
So off the back of the Soulmates group chat, is that where Soulmates Edit came from?
Yes.
Cool.
So that was like a thing that we all were discussing. Like we literally made another group with people who wanted to be a part of it, where we would discuss all the ideas and what we felt like needed to be expressed, because there were so many of us. Obviously it's like you can have like a max of 30 people in a group, that to have then 30 people's opinions and views and everything like that, and make content, because we obviously there needs to be some representation of women, but it then kind of changed where we felt like it was more something that needed to include everyone, not just what, because otherwise we're doing what everyone else is doing, but the opposite way. Do you know what I mean? Like just singling out females, where it should just be like, no, everyone needs to be involved in this. It should be something that celebrates everyone, but obviously highlighting the things that some accounts don't necessarily highlight about women, and just bringing it out there. So that's how it kind of started, just to highlight women, and like the issues that we obviously face, like with like sizes and toxic masculinity, and then it kind of shrunk a lot more, and there was only like 5 of us that was doing it.
So how many people were doing it to begin with?
I think it was like 20 of us out of the 30 was doing it. I was me and Christine was like the main people that was designing all of the stuff at the start, and then everyone else was just like giving us the ideas and adding to anything that we'd written, and it kind of grew from there. But then obviously everyone got busier because furlough started to stop and everyone was coming out of lockdown, so then it got smaller, and then there was only like 5 of us, and then there was just me. But I wanted to carry on.
So it's just you on your own now?
Yeah, I wanted to carry on because like I enjoy it, but obviously that's another story, but where I obviously was trying to grow myself and build my portfolio, I kind of put it to aside for a bit. Like I've got Q&As waiting with like big people on Instagram and other things ready to post, but I kind of didn't want to carry it on yet until I can put like 100% into it. Do you know what I mean? To me, it's not like, it's not just a load of rubbish. It's like true, and authentic. But yeah, it's just me at the moment.
Oh yeah, mad. I was always interested to know who actually is behind the page. I had no idea it was just little old Charlotte now.
Yeah, and so many people have reached out. Like, I don't know.
Do they offer that to help?
Yeah, but like,
you don't want to give it?
No, I don't mind it.
Oh.
Like anyone's welcome to help. I always say in the group, like, if you have any ideas that you think I should like put on there, then just let me know. But in a sense of like, Pillar Store that I've done some work with, like they reached out to me and was like,
I'll come on to that.
I would love to like be a part of the Soulmates Edit in a different sense and take it somewhere else. I mean, me and Christine have always talked about it like turning into a potential agency, whether that could be something that like helps like complete diverse of people get into influencing, etc. Because I've always been told by them in the group that like I write really well. I'm like the go-to person for writing formal letters and emails. Literally, they always.
I got a parking ticket. How can I appeal, Charlotte?
literally, and like when people ask for like fees and stuff like that, like, Charlotte, what do I write? So yeah, that's kind of it at the moment.
I need some help with that. I mean, I need to send my fees across to a couple people. But do you have future plans for it? Like, obviously, I know you're waiting for and you can get back to it. But what do you, other than it being kind of an agency, what did it start off with a specific goal, or was it just?
It was to bring up conversations that weren't being talked about. Like, because I think after what happened with our video and it going viral on Complex Sneakers and seeing all the comments about get back in the kitchen and stuff like this, we was just like, okay, like we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what's funny? I haven't had a real life in-person conversation about this video with someone
Have you
because
not?
it happened so
I
long
know,
ago.
I know.
I think it happened in lockdown, right?
Yeah, it was April 2020.
It happened like I remember it. It was it caused such a wave.
Ripple.
Yeah, literally like a tsunami. And then, but everybody was in the house, so like nobody could really have an
Yeah, that's
actual
true. I didn't
conversation
think about
about
that.
it. I mean, a lot of people have spoken about it online, but yeah, it's funny to to just go back to that time.
But there was so many comments from men just hating on us.
So many.
And it was just gross to see. And like some of the girls, they get really affected by it. But it's like, as sad as it is, like you have to expect it. So like at that time, especially where it wasn't, I feel like now people are starting to realize like, no, that's wrong. But it's still.
I think that I understand what you're saying in terms of you have to expect it because it's such a male-dominated industry. But I think that because especially female, us people that are in the kind of the UK community and even like Offspring community and stuff like that, or if we go to size events or whatever, in real life, that's not normal because a lot of the guys, they show nothing but love.
100%.
So I think that in that terms, it's not really expected because stuff like when it comes to it's American audience and it's a lot younger. And that they're the people, they will go for the jugular and they don't care if you're crying and eating your ice cream tonight on the sofa.
Yeah, I feel like the UK is quite good when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I would say
and if the
we
UK
just support
people,
each other.
Yeah, and if they do want to insult you, it will be funny.
Yeah.
Like, it won't be maybe misogynistic. It might just be a bit cheeky, but it'll be funny.
Yeah.
We have banter.
Yeah.
But the Americans are just
They go hard.
ruthless. And especially when they see a girl with Jordans, I don't know what it is. But yeah.
And they don't like, there was a lot of like hate towards like the street style as well, which was very weird. Like, but then there was somebody that wore a dress with Jordan 1s and literally they just went ham on her on Twitter. It's just, yeah,
it was very weird.
But that kind of
But
what
yes,
kicked
that
it off.
sparked it.
That's what kind of kicked it off in like that
So
pages like that don't talk about
Yeah.
the fact that they're getting these comments and they don't do anything about getting these comments.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're the ones that should be changing this because you have such a big impact on these people. Like, yeah, you just we have to get it out there. Like, and the first post we did was toxic masculinity, and we had like 200 followers, and it organically got 700 likes and like 100 comments, if not more, of people arguing about it. And this was where it was like down to me to reply to them with my formal words. And basically just drill them to the ground and be like, no, you're wrong. Like, what we're saying is right. This does happen. Because people, like, it's like they refuse to believe that this actually does happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Preaching to the choir, sister. When did that page start? Did that start in 2021? Did it start in 2020?
I think it was 2021.
Yeah.
I think it was at the beginning. I'm sure it was like this time. I think it's like a year ago now. February last year, if I want to say.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thanks.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you choose to do with that. My advice, not that you asked for it, if you've got content, I would say just put it out there. Let it speak for itself. You don't necessarily have to do the long captions and be in the comments or whatever. If it's a Q&A, it's like you don't necessarily have anything that you can really add to that. It's the individual that you're showcasing.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely. Well, I'm trying to take it more towards like highlighting small businesses as well, and like people who are like just starting out, just to get that exposure for them, because there's so many in the community that, and I love that like people use their creativity continuously, so it's worth it.
Yeah. as you do. Speaking of, so Pillar Store. What are you doing with that? And also, can you just kind of explain to myself and to the people what the store is?
So they are like, they actually approached me when I worked at Cut Park, and they were going to have a space in there with us, and they was going to be reselling, but it wasn't going to be reselling like traditional. It was going to be like in a sense of people can join up to a membership, and with that membership they can get shoes for retail, if not just slightly over, because that slightly over bit will pay for bots, but they will allow, it's just basically making it more accessible. They want to make it more accessible for people to basically be able to get shoes, because they're like being part of the community as well. They can see that it's just obviously getting so much harder to try and get shoes that you want, and where resellers are growing at the same time, that makes it harder. Where they're going with it right now, I'm not completely sure. They've been a bit MIA, but I know behind the scenes they are doing a lot and trying to build their brand in the background and trying to find ways to get these products and make them more accessible for people so that they haven't got to pay extortionate prices for them, basically.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so what were you doing with them on that?
So I was basically initially they wanted it to be where I helped them to advertise their brand, but they've actually said that rather than do that, they're kind of happy for me to create more artistic stuff and graphic design stuff for them instead, that can go on the website and bits like that, to be honest. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it turning to that a bit more, I think, because I do prefer obviously more the creative side than posting pictures. So yeah.
No, yeah.
No, I say that and I post all week, but still.
No, I think it's fair, obviously, when you get to express yourself a bit more. Obviously, with you kind of posting your just the daily pictures or whatever, obviously you are expressing yourself. You're just not necessarily expressing yourself to the point where it's, something that you're kind of
completely passionate.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy it, but anything that's gonna have that extra creativity where I'm doing something with my hands, it's obviously completely different.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sick. How have you found kind of the transition between being like an everyday content creator, Instagram influencer, to doing like more stuff where you're being more creative and showcasing that? Like, have you found it's being well received? Have you found that people are kind of expecting the old type of content from you, or
I don't even know anymore with Instagram.
Yeah,
it's so.
I was gonna say, or is it just
it fluctuates so much? I don't even know. But I honestly, I'm not really bothered what other people want. Does that make sense?
Good. Yeah, it's good.
Like I would rather, if I've got stuff to post, I'll post it. But yeah, that's kind of it, really.
Yeah. Do you feel that you don't feel a pressure to post?
No,
anymore?
no. I don't. Like, I do it because, like, I have companies dependent on me, so I want to keep my profile up for that matter. But yeah, sometimes you get those moments when you just can't be bothered. Like everyone does.
No, for sure.
So, yeah.
I also feel like this period of the year, like as you were saying with the pillar store, it's like I feel like everyone's just brainstorming ideas, getting themselves ready for what they're about to do. I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's the calm before the storm.
Yeah,
everyone's creative.
At the end of the year, everyone's just gonna be like popping, basically.
Yeah, March is gonna be crazy because it's Air Max month. We have Air Max Day, and then we also have International Women's Day.
So much going on in Crep City.
Yeah, and the first Crep City of the year kicks off. I'm already mentally tired thinking about that.
It's exciting though.
Yeah, and you shall be at Crep City. So we will get into that. So you recently became the content manager of Pretty, a sneaker customization brand. Would you like to tell the people a bit more about how you got into that and also your role?
So a lot of it does connect to my previous job. So I'll start by explaining what I did before. So I was at a place called Cut Park. It was basically a bit like Box Park, but it was for, like, there was barber stools, there was a sneaker cleaner, and then there was just space. And the space was basically to allow the small businesses, like they do at Box Park, to basically have some pop-up exposure or just some outside exposure in Reading, because there's not that much going on in Reading, to be honest. So, but Reading's trying to become like London, but it can't get there but it needed
That's a big jump.
honestly.
Sorry, Reading,
like,
but somebody needs to tell you
yeah,
that.
literally.
You
I
need
just
to-
they need. Yeah, there's not. There's. It's. I don't. Yeah, I don't like Reddit.
Oh.
But yeah, there's a like. There needed to be a space for creatives in Reading to, because there are quite a few that are doing. Obviously, Pretty is one of them. Then there's like Trimmingham. She's another one that's in Reading. It just, yeah, there's people come. Pillar Store is in Reading. Like, it's just people coming out of Reading that just didn't really have that space. Like, London's so close, but it's also so far at the same time. And obviously it's expensive to get to all the time. But yeah, so I started at Cut Park, and that's where I met Pillar Store. That's where I met Kira.
Sorry, so what was your actual role at Copper?
Oh, Cut Park. So I was founder's associate.
Okay.
So I basically kind of what I'm doing now, but it was a lot more. It wasn't very specific. I was on the front desk and I was like the receptionist, but I was also managing everyone there, and I was also doing the social media, and I was doing event planning, like literally everything.
You seem to get yourself into roles where what you're being hired for, what you're doing,
yeah,
isn't the same.
But yeah, so I started with that, and basically we was going to do like a massive charity event, and it was going to be for the NHS because it was just after lockdown ended back in April last year, and we was going to do something to make money for our local hospital, and Pretty and Pillar Store were invited to that as a pop-up, and basically was going to offer like any sales would be like 10% towards charity, and then that's how I then met Kira and she reached out to me for Pretty.
Oh, sick. So you started, so what you got, did you initially speak about you becoming a content manager and doing kind of the marketing stuff that you do now, or was that just a natural transition? Okay.
No, yeah, we did talk about it. So, not many people know this, but I lost my job back August last year, and he decided to close it with a week's notice.
Okay.
Yeah. And Kira reached out to me and basically said to me about this possible opportunity at Pretty to be the content manager. And at the time, after like what had happened, where I'd put all my trust in this person and then they just completely shut the whole thing down and like basically given me a vision of a future that actually wasn't there.
Yeah.
Obviously you have to build that trust back up with companies. So instead of rushing into something, I worked on myself like crazy. Like I taught myself Adobe Illustrator. I was trying to teach myself Photoshop. Like I was just going ham on everything to try and build up my whole knowledge and basically gain that confidence back, I guess. And then I think it was December that Kira reached back out to me and said about it again. And I was like, do you know what? Yeah, like I want to do this. And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
Because like the last 3 weeks even feel like they have been months, but in a good way. And like, it's kind of a job that you never feel like you're working. It's because it's sneakers as well.
Yeah.
Like you just don't feel like you're at work because you're doing what you've always wanted to do and what you've been doing, just on a much larger scale for a company. So it's a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah. Where do you get your kind of inspiration from then? Because obviously you're creating content now, not only for yourself, but for a whole other brand. And you're also doing bits for other brands and yours, kind of your other page.
Yeah.
So where does a lot of your inspiration come from?
I would say other people as well, like on Instagram, like the other creatives. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how to explain that.
I'm just creative. I just get ideas.
I mean, again, no, I can't say it. Callum does give me
This is not the His Story and Sneakers podcast.
He builds my confidence a lot in that sense. And he's the push to like make me do these things, and like his brother as well, he's also at the beginning of like lockdown was very helpful in that sense too, like that's what kind of gave me the push and like the little ideas. But then also like now, like me and Kira, we bounce off each other like crazy. Like when you're with creative people, it's so easy to be like, let's do this. Oh yeah, let's add this as well. Like constantly. It's the same like with Christine. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, we're always invited to the same things.
Yeah.
It's always like, we joked that.
I
like,
know that if you're at an event, I'm gonna see
literally
her post a picture of the same event.
But what was it? So we went to Present
JD.
It By.
Oh.
And then literally when I left her that evening, I said to her, "Oh right, I'll see you next month," as a joke. And then JD have invited us to something together again this month. So it wasn't even a joke after all. But yeah, that's it. You just bounce off creative people, and that is your kind of inspiration. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, awesome. What do you... So obviously when you're doing your work at Pretty, but you're also not... You do more than just the content kind of brand, Instagram, running the marketing, because you also kind of paint as well, right? Paint the crepes and stuff. Where do you want that to kind of go, or where do you see it going?
I mean, with that sort of thing, like obviously that's not... I tend to...
Her boss is also in the room.
So with the painting, like I always say to Kira, like, oh, I do that on my break. So it's like, because obviously that's not my job role, but I also want to do it as well to help, like, because it is kind of part of it.
Are you learning kind of how to customize along the way, or did you have to do that?
I literally, when was it? Like 4 years ago, I made Charlotte's, and it was called something else because I was painting on shoes.
Okay.
Then I gave up and was like, no, I can't bother with it.
I'm sensing a pattern.
And yeah, then wait, where I've lost my track of thought. What was he saying?
If you're picking up how to customize Pretty.
Yeah. So I obviously know the process of painting on shoes, but it's more because we're trying to create more concepts rather than actual shoes that we'd release as well. So like we're trying to experiment a lot more, because obviously within the customization industry, like it's growing to a completely different direction. So we want it to be stuff that is a bit more futuristic, that's out there, and not necessarily just painted on. But obviously, like they'd never done a red shoe before, and obviously Valentine's Day was coming, so we've just created the Valentine's Day Jordan 1, and that's their first red shoe. So I was a part of that, but the other girls as well, they are constantly creating new concepts, and Kira's very hands-on with it as well. So it's kind of all of us, because it's quite a small team. There's only 4 of us.
Okay, yeah.
So there's only me, Kira, and then 2 other people. And so because of that, we're able to just work all together at a moment. Obviously, if it went to, or when it goes to a bigger scale, it will be where we kind of actually do our full-time job roles. Whereas right now, we're able to just dip in and out of everything.
Yeah.
You're
going to be at Crep City, showcasing everything that Pretty has to offer. We're not going to talk too much about it, just because in the next episode we will have Kira herself on the podcast to talk and tell you guys a bit more about what, the insides of the actual company and the ins and outs. I did want to touch on one thing in regards to obviously you being like a white female in the sneaker community. Do you sometimes feel a way when people do talk about diversity and stuff? Like, do you feel like they are minimizing your kind of passion and your interest? Like, do you ever feel like sometimes you're getting looped into conversations that you shouldn't be a part of?
In what sense? Like, what sort of conversation?
In the sense of, like, say if, for example, with the complex thing, it was like just an innocent... Bar that one individual.
Yeah.
We will erase her from the conversation. It was kind of just an innocent thing of obviously a selected group of people that just wanted to showcase their collections and stuff.
100%.
And then it turned
it's
into...
like you're being accused of something you didn't.
Yeah, and it's like... And people obviously, you talking about, you get invited to certain events, and people are talking about, space is not being given to the right individuals. And so in a sense, that knockoff... That in a way they're saying that you're taking up space that you shouldn't necessarily be taking up. Does that? I'm just wondering if that ever affects you in a way, because I could imagine that, like even being a brown creative, I sometimes feel like, okay, like maybe my contributions aren't really being recognized as much because
No, I feel like you
there's
are.
a help.
I see you.
No, sweetie. The amount of people that come up to me and say they like what I'm doing and the amount of numbers I'm seeing online,
Really?
it's not really adding up, but that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, so sometimes I do feel a bit sorry for obviously white female creatives in the industry because I feel like sometimes they might feel as though they're taking heat that because it's not really your fault. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I say your, I don't mean your individual. I just
There
mean,
was a point actually where I think it was JD actually where there were comments. I can't remember if it's under my post or someone else's post about the diversity, and you can't. It's on like I think it was on my post, but it's like I'm not intentionally. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
But because me as a person, I am completely like I am completely the opposite of racist, like the other spectrum. Like I literally am so open to. I don't see people as color. Like I know that's so cliche to say, but I really don't. Like I just
when you're not racist, you don't know how to say it. Like, bro, I just see people as people.
Like I would
don't
never
like you,
ever
I don't like
understand how people can look at the color of somebody and literally not look at them as a human. Look at them. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I mean, when you're in these events, you do see the diversity. Like the JD event that I went to for Christmas, like the diversity was insane, like literally insane. Like everybody was there.
I would just say on that a lot of people were also famous.
Yeah.
So
although I didn't even know that. I had to be like, who's that?
So people might, if people are listening, this might be like, yeah, it's diverse, but it's also because a lot of them are kind of in the industry type.
But I did see a lot of like, there was a lot of the sneaker community there, but obviously it was a mix because you had like the sneaker community, then you had the people who are like fashion Instagram, then you had the people the models for them, and then the people who are the actual like famous influencers.
I wouldn't know. JD don't invite me to events.
If you're watching this, invite her next.
Charlotte, slide me your contact, please.
But yeah, no, it was when you go to the obviously they are famous, but it's still that diversity. But obviously, I don't know. Yeah, I don't feel any type of way about being white in the sneaker community.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I just wondered if because I can imagine being like getting comments about like that can make you also sad. To be like, I don't know why people have this opinion of me type of thing, or why people are.
I think I just don't allow
it mind.
No, I don't, because like it's just people. It's at the end of the day, people that make those sort of comments are uneducated and very naive. So there's no point in taking it into thought.
Yeah, true. What do you have planned for yourself and the future of Charlotte Eyebrow?
I don't really know, to be honest. I'm just floating.
Well, what's the goal?
Right now.
Like, what would you love to, like, in 10 years' time, what would you love to be able to say that you've done?
Do you know what, though? Like, I always wanted to basically do what I'm doing now.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't really have a thought about 10 years' time anymore. Like, 10 years' time, my goal is to actually have a house and just, make my own space. That's kind of it, really. I just want to grow as a creative completely in every aspect, like a lot more opportunities and just meet people constantly and travel, just like all the cliche stuff. But yeah, that's what I want to do, really.
Do you feel like you need to leave Reading to grow as a creative? Do you feel like your creativity is a bit stifled there?
Not necessarily. No, I don't think so. Because as long as you're getting out and about and meeting people, there's always going to be opportunities there. But if I just sat in Reading and not spoke to anyone, like, you wouldn't get those opportunities. But I don't think it restricts me because I'm so close to everything and I'm willing to travel to go see these people, etc. Like going to Crep City, Manchester, like the other end of the UK. So yeah, no, I don't think so.
Well, did you go to Crep City? You didn't.
No,
go,
I didn't go. No,
is this you're going to be?
I can't remember what I did something that day, and I can't remember what because I was. Watching
it was clearly that important. You missed.
I was watching all the videos and was like, oh, I wish I was there. But no, this will be my first one, so I'm excited.
Your first Crep City ever?
My first sneaker event.
Oh wow!
I know,
mental.
Because I've grown in confidence as well. Like you won't believe it. I was very shy, but I've grown in confidence, and I feel like
No, don't take this the wrong way, but I thought that you might be a bit I can always tell when I ask people to come on the podcast, like.
I do get nervous, but like once I'm in it, like I'm in it.
I think the people think it's like gonna be like, what are your political views? And it's like, no, you literally just have to talk about yourself. It's fine.
But no, this will be my first one because I feel like I'm putting myself out there a lot more and meeting more people and talking to more people. And like when I went to the JD event, like I managed to meet like 7 people from Instagram, and it just was so nice to do. And it's like, why did I not do this ages ago? So like I'm gonna definitely make the effort to go to like Amsterdam to Sneakerness and just even America, just see all these people that I've like been friends with for so long now, and just get out there.
Oh, sick. And even when you meet people, it's like you don't even feel like you've never met them before.
Literally.
It's so weird.
Honestly.
It's like
the sneaker community is like, if anyone's not in it, like I don't know why they're not in it kind of thing. Because it's so, like, you meet so many insane people in it. It's just, it's something that you just want to be a part. This is why, like, when people say, oh, do you think you'll ever stop collecting? Like, I don't know, because like, obviously the people are in it as well. Like, don't know. I
think online sneaker community and in-person sneaker community are 2 totally different things in the UK.
100%.
Like online, it can get annoying, competitive, catty. No, I don't even mean catty because people are going to assume that I mean that between females. I don't even mean between females. Boys can be catty. Man them cats. But in person, it's like everyone's just cool and always on a vibe, like at an event, and everyone's just chilled. Before we end this today, do you have any advice to any up and coming female sneakerheads that are wanting to either grow their page or get into kind of using that art and creativity to do something similar to yourself?
I guess just I'm so bad at this sort of stuff, like advice like that, because you're
supposed to be the formal writer, Charlotte.
I know. You really have to be unique, like, but not to the extent where you're forcing yourself to be unique. Like, you just need to be yourself in that sense, and
like trust that you are.
Yeah, unique. Like, because if one person's not gonna like what you're doing, someone is gonna like what you're doing. Like, there's always gonna be people that don't rate you, but there will be people that do rate you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you might as well just carry on through life, just doing what you feel like you want to do. Otherwise, you'll get to a point where you can't be bothered anymore with it. So
So Charlotte's advice is just be you.
Yeah,
just do you.
Do you.
Just do it.
Do you, boo?
Sick. Well, before we go, let the people know where they can find you across your many pages.
There's too many to name. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Charlotte Wybrow. The songmate said it. Charlotte's and pretty.
Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah. And that's been myself with Charlotte. I'm Sandy, also known as skg.jpeg. This has been the Her Story in Sneakers podcast. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and we shall catch you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Bye, guys.